Hey folks, back with another video. In today's video, we'll look into Elizabeth Warren's campaign, especially where it went wrong and what lessons we can learn from it. Let's dive in. Now, her campaign for 2020 had issues before she even announced. She was a weak candidate when she announced her candidacy for the 2020 presidential election in the Democratic Party. And of course, if anyone mentions Elizabeth Warren, the first thought that goes in everyone's mind is her heritage. A claim that was highly suspect, and the suspicion became true when she took a DNA test because she let Donald Trump manipulate her. And and then she made the whole thing worse by making that knowledge public. And that was a self inflicted wound of the highest proportion. There was no need for her to have done the DNA test or to make. I mean, had she I mean, if she had known, I mean, she shouldn't have even released that data. Just no. I would have advised against it. And of course, being who she is, she just let that be the public. She just let it be public. And so now she claims that she is an Indian with the evidence that she is not. And of course, the she was, let's just say, publicly chastised by the other local, the American tribes for the whole debacle. The other thing that made her a weak candidate was her reason for, how do I put it gently, exiting her teaching job when she was young. I mean, from the get go, there were holes in her own side of the story. And on top of that, the school that she was teaching in contradicted her story, which makes it more difficult to basically verify what exactly happened. But from her own account, I mean, her story changing makes a person like me who doesn't know, when he reads or listens to it, go, okay, there's something that, you know, you he comes across as someone who was, well, hiding something, or she's just lying. She's just lying. I mean, let me just run to you a couple of things. Initially, she claimed that she was 19, and that and then during her Senate run, she claimed that she was 22. I mean, initially she claimed she was on an emergency certificate to teach, but during that Senate run, she claimed that she was qualified. I mean, her stories were contradictory. The details of the story were contradictory. That made it difficult. I mean, if you come across as just just contradicting yourself like that much, you know, I know, it's in the nature of a politician to lie, but there's certain lies that politicians should not be engaged in, and these two were definitely the kinds of lies that no politician should be engaged in. And then, of course, there was her endorsing Hillary Clinton. I mean, to proclaim yourself as a progressive and then on the other hand go and endorse Hillary Clinton while Bernie Sanders is running, I mean, that basically made the progressive wing just question her motives and her brand of politics, especially when Hillary Clinton went on to lose the 2016 election. Now, these mistakes could have been overcome by coming on stronger and having a strong sort of a message and, you know, something of a, let's just say, come up with a counter narrative, a narrative of maybe she has changed, she has learned, and that she's not going to do any of these kinds of, let's just say, self-inflicted wounds. I mean, sure, she can't address those some of these issues. She did the right thing by just choosing to ignore them and go forward. I mean, that was the best she could have done, and she did do it. And Elizabeth Warren, being Elizabeth Warren, she went on this self-inflicted wounds on her credibility. Her allegations against Bernie Sanders was the death nail on any credibility she had. I mean, Bernie Sanders can be accused of things, but being accused of sexist was just blatantly, just nobody could have believed it. I mean, this was something so obviously like unbelievable that even the opposition in the Republicans generally were going like, okay, I mean we're against Bernie, but even we know that he is not a sexist. I mean, and I think that single-handedly was, I mean, the death nail. And then of course this probably pushed, her donors to sort of back away and go, you know, and that's probably what led to the next mistake. I mean, she claimed that she would not take any money from Super PAC, but she reversed that decision as soon as her financial situation became dire. And of course, if you know, change on something that you claim to be some kind of a moral principle, then your campaign is basically dead. And worse than that is, your brand of politics is also unacceptable. And then on top of that, she eventually had to suspend her campaign. But the interesting thing about her suspending the campaign is actually the way she did it. I mean, she came out strong against the Bernie fans, let's just say, or the Bernie bros as they are called from online. And while, I mean, sure, you can say there are certain Bernie fans that are, let's just say, overtly zealots, sure, but then every campaign has it. Even Elizabeth Warren's campaign has those kinds of people. So that was a not a good sort of way to attack Bernie Sanders' campaign. But I think she did this for a simple reason. She wanted to place herself in the middle between Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders as far as her endorsement is concerned. However, I believe the longer she waits, the less utility her endorsement will have. But I am looking at her past, and I'm gonna make a prediction that I've heard other people were making it as well, and that is that she will probably endorse Joe Biden. I would give it a 65-35. 65 for Joe Biden and 35 for Bernie Sanders. Well, thank you for watching this video. If you like my content, then please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video.